Hey, what is up, guys? It's Giltspire here, and welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are back once again with Group A of Season 3, and today we are seeing Colt versus Dawn. With that being said, we are jumping right on in, and we are starting off strong with Colt's Spirit. And I believe we're going to be seeing a bit of a mirror match today, as Dawn will similarly be following up with another Spirit on the Father Campbell's Chapel. So with that being said, get ready for an intense match of some S-tier killers. But with that being said, let's jump right on in to this first match. For those who are not aware, as you can see, as I am joined by none other than me, myself, and I, today I will be solo casting, so let's jump right on in and see what these teams bring to the table. And we see Zaka's Spirit here. Pretty standard add-ons, all things considered. Double yellow, as most of the Spirit add-ons are pretty much nerfed and or banned into the ground. And they are off to the races trying to find a early chase, and they do end up finding the ace, so very good stuff here. Now the question is whether or not the Spirit as a 110 killer will be able to catch up in time. The nice thing about Father Campbell's Chapel, a lot of tall grass for Spirit to work with to try and keep track of these survivors. However, Spirit losing track of the ace with that built-in Iron Will, and looks like this ace is going to go on for a longer chase, and because that, Spirit's going to drop and opt to pressure some generators. As we see there, Ruin putting in some work, and two survivors on these gens. Really smart heads-up play by these survivors. If you see Ruin in play, one of the best things you can do as a survivor team is double up on gens. That way, if you're not going to cleanse Ruin, at least you can rotate on and off the gens as necessary. But looks like the Spirit will continue the chase on this Nia, as she does drop that pallet and does a little bit of a mind game to gain some distance. Unfortunately, the Spirit does miss their hit, and Nia will make a clean escape as we hear the Ruin get cleansed in the distance. At this point in time, the survivors have only seen 2 out of the Spirit's 4 perks, Ruin and Corrupt Intervention. The other 2 currently a little bit of a mystery. However, the Nia will go down, and this will be the first hook for the Spirit of this game. So, good stuff there, though Corrupt Intervention is just about over. I'd say for most killers, if you're able to get a down within the first 2 minutes, you're in a pretty decent spot. Definitely could be better, all things considered, as we do hear the first gen pop off for the survivors as well. So tit for tat here, tit for tat, and that there is the end of the Corrupt Intervention. Spirit opened up this door here, kind of curious of that decision. One thing about Father Campbell's Chapel, it really is hit or miss on whether or not y'all want to break those doors. With the open window, though, it might not be a half bad call, though I think the door on the other side there is probably the better bet. Spirit trying to camp out here, it would look like, and kind of just force these survivors to play around the unhook. But so far, I was going to say no one is coming on in, but now we see both Claude and the Ace attempting a unhook. So it looks like we're going to have at least 2 survivors off of gens. Looks like the David did finish theirs, and there's the hit on the Ace, but a potential misplay by the Claudette results in the Ace going down for the 1-for-1 trade. Maybe a deli is in play. So we'll have to wait and see, as that will be a safe unhook by the Ace. I'd be willing to bet, but man, that was unfortunate to say the least. You'd think they'd want to bait out the hit on the Claudette if that were the case. Try and give the Ace a little bit more of a chance to work around the unhook, but Looks like no deliverance from the ace, instead a unhook, potentially from the Claudette. Nia has been healed. Trying to take a little bit of pressure off of these survivors. A little bit of mind game at this L wall, and ace will go back down. The question of the day then stands, does the ace have a decisive strike in play? Looks like Spirit's not going to take a risk, though, and will opt to pressure some generators instead. They do find the Claudette on top of the hill, but looks like they're just going to hit and run, allowing the Claudette to make their way towards Shaq for a potential heal, and will be going back for the ace now, potentially for the pickup. Looks like they are just kind of checking on the ace, making sure that they aren't getting picked up. Instead, we'll once again go to pressure these gens. Going for the Nia with a balanced landing, though, will make enough distance for the Spirit to drop chase. Once again, going back to the ace, trying to go for this pickup, really just making sure that they do not eat that decisive strike. But with the bleed out timer working as well, a timer, they will be able to see that enough time has passed and will go for the tunnel out on the ace, as this will be their second hook in a row. So far, the Spirit is in a pretty good spot, but once again, I want to point out here, the survivors are not going down without a fight, and that will be the third gen for the third hook with another hit on the Nia. But once again, drop and chase. This Spirit is not committing to these chases at all. Really just trying to buy time here and there. The question is, will it be enough? It is yet to be seen, as we are going to be seeing a little bit of a camp here from the Spirit, potentially trying to force the ace to second stage. Maybe the Spirit at the very most just aiming for the 6 hook 2K or 7 hook if they find a fresh survivor. But so far, we haven't seen much of the David or the Claudette since their last interactions, and with only 15 seconds left on this hook, it does seem like the ace will move to death, and we'll see him next time at the campfire. Yeah, Spirit full on dedicating the camp here. 2 heals on a survivor back-to-back, so a bit of a reset. They have a little bit of time to work with, but not much, as we do see what I think to be kinship activating, as the bleed out timer on the ace has all but stopped. So that little bit of time might give these survivors enough to go for this unhook. That could have been the reason for the reset. And we see the ace off the hook, the David coming in clutch. Sprint burst from the ace, getting to the pallet here. Now the question is whether or not they have a decisive strike, as this Spirit wants them dead. Ace, though, with another vault, really good distance here. And with that built-in iron will do a whole lot, but unfortunately going to a dead zone. Now the Spirit has to play the gamble of the day. Decisive strike or no decisive strike? And the answer is no decisive strike. However, survivors do get that 5th generator completed, though we do see a little bit of sign of what their 4th perk is, and that is no one escapes death. Spirit now moving with 4% faster speed, and they are going to be going for, at the very least, a 2K here, as they find the Claudette in the corner and get her down. At the very least, we're looking at a 2K7 hook. So definitely a good showing here, showing the power that Noed can bring to the table in the best of circumstances. It is now up to these survivors to cleanse Noed, which they did in record time, and potentially go for the unhook on the Claudette. Spirit, though, seeing the Nia creeping towards this exit gate, will go off to them, but unable to identify where they went, will go back to the hook. The unfortunate thing for these survivors, though, is that this is a hill hook, so it's going to be very difficult for them to do much of anything. Spirit, though, once again getting distracted by the Nia, will end up going for a chase. Looks like David did open up the exit gate near the hook. This could be an attempted unhook and sprint to the exit gate by the David, but no sign of them as of this moment. David with the unhook does take the body block, but with everyone injured, now David is on the run from the Spirit, as Claudette does have a bit of BT. We haven't seen Dead Hard yet, so it is likely. David coming on in, trying to distract the spirit. There's a firecracker. Will it get the blind? It does not with no decisive strike. That will be the 2K7 hook. Valiant attempt there by the survivors. Unfortunately, just not enough to get the 3-man out. And with that being said, that there will be the end of game number 1. Cult versus Dawn. We're going to be flipping sides here. This time, Dawn on the Father Campbell's Chapel, killing, once again, though, with the Spirit. So, good stuff, to say the least. Some interesting perks here that I do want to point out on the Survivor side. Off the record, really, really interesting. You don't see that often unless you're playing against maybe a Demogorgon, for example. So, really interested on the thought process behind that. But with that being said, we are going to transition to Dawn killing for the next 2 matches. And with that being said, I do want to remind everyone here that we are partnered with Stream for a Cause. Stream for a Cause is a nonprofit organization here in the United States. They support a litany of different causes. This month, in fact, they are supporting Going Green. So for those of you who are, really environmentally conscious, definitely make sure to donate even $1 to Champions for a Cause, our fundraiser that we partnered with Stream for a Cause. Also keep in mind that every single dollar that you donate does in some way, shape, or form influence Championship of Championship in December's prize pool. So definitely do keep that in mind. But with that being said, guys, we will be back in just a little bit, and I will see you soon. All right, and we are back. As a reminder, we are watching the match between Cult versus Dawn. First set happened on the Father Campbell's Chapel with a little bit of a spirit mirror match. We saw Cult come out strong and end up 12-10 versus Dawn. But now we're going to be able to see, actually, sorry, correction, 15-15 versus Dawn. But now we're going to be able to see Dawn's killer, the Spirit, see if they're able to break the tie for set number 1, or if the Survivor team will bring their team to victory. With that being said, though, we are jumping right on in, so we will not have to wait long. It's going to be interesting. I actually am very curious to see what the Spirits build is going to be with it tied up. They honestly could bring like a full-on gen regression build, a late game build. At the end of the day, what they need is more than a 2K7 hook. And if they can accomplish that, then they are golden. Don't even need to get the 3K. As long as a 2K8 hook, they got it. So only time will tell. But that being said, let's jump right on in. We see Juvlio here going to the carnival, swinging at the air, you know, maybe a little bit of some insight on things to come, but so far, no sign of the survivors. This is very similar to what we saw on the last trial with the Spirit coming back here, but unfortunately for Juvlio, no sign of a single survivor. Either they're doing an excellent job of hiding it out, or they are just somewhere else. And we even see Ruin get cleansed within the first about like 30 seconds, give or take. So really great play there by the survivors, a very similar build. However, looks like Juvlio with the mind game does get it on the Lori, and they are off to the races at the main building. Thankfully for Juvlio, looks like the setup here on main is a lot better for them than the last Spirit. No wall breaks necessary. However, this Lori making some really good distance using these tiles to their advantage and getting away from that Spirit's hit will get some additional distance, and they're continuing this loop at main building. Honestly, this loop is rather scary for a 110 killer like the Spirit. A lot of people do tend to forget, like, they are 110 while not in phase walk, and Lori there trying to out mind game the Spirit unfortunately will end up going down, but these survivors have already completed a single generator to this first hook. So good job on both sides, and with Corrupt Intervention almost over, these survivors are currently aware of 2 out of the 4 perks, and second generator completed now. I mean, this Spirit is in a bit of a pickle. Not a great place to be. 2 generators to 1 survivor hook. That's 4 points to 3. With only 3 more generators to go, these survivors are in a prime position. Looks like Juvlio is going to spend some time around the hook, potentially trying to push the Lori to second phase. The unfortunate thing is they physically cannot camp this out. If the Spirit right now camps out Lori, even into second phase, the survivors are likely to get these last 3 generators, and thus because of that, the Spirit will drop off the camp plan and instead go for the Claudette. Losing them, though, at the tile. We'll be trying to go back for the generator, and we will see pop goes the weasel. So really good start here by the survivors, to say the least. We do, however, see 2 survivors. Looks like Juvlio will go for the tunnel on the Lori, trying to get this early kill. However, we all know that Lori's teachable perk is Decisive Strike, so this might be a risky play, but beautiful hit there through the window on the Lori. But Lori is off the races, potentially an overcome in play. Back in the phase walk, and still trying to track down this Lori. Lori trying to mind game here, I would imagine. And looks like they may have actually vaulted into Shack far away from where the action's at, and Spirit giving up the chase. Lori just sitting here at this pallet, wasting as much time. Like I said, the Spirit needs a 2K8 hook in order to secure the victory for their team. So the Lori just wasting this much time for the Spirit as we see another 2 generators pop off. The Spirit is gonna be sweating bullets right now, to say the least. Looks like Kate is going to be coming in for the body block here. Makes a ton of sense. Only if 1 generator left to complete and 4 survivors in the game, it really does allow these survivors to kind of come on in and work around what the Spirit's attempting to do. They will, however, get the down on the Kate, and this will be their 2nd hook of the game. However, I would imagine that the Ace and Claudette are cranking out the last gen as we speak, and I imagine we are going to see these survivors on the exit gates very shortly. Spirit phase walking again, going into main, and looks like the Kate uses a deliverance. So all that pressure the Spirit previously had, once again, nothing but dust. We see the last survivor finish off that gen. However, we once again see that haste status effect, and so we do have another NOED in play. Ace, though, jumping into the locker. Maybe a flashlight tech? Let's see. No flashlight, just a bit of bait. And Ace will be going on the hook. However, exit gates are already open. Cult knowing full on well what they needed for the win. And that will be 2, 3 survivors out. And the first set is going to go to Cult. Amazing, amazing stuff there. These survivors knew what the win condition was, they knew what they needed to win the set, and they did just that. So amazing job there by both sides. Unfortunately though, these survivors just cracked out of their mind. And with that being said, we are going to go to set, or trial, number 3, set 2. And this time, we are going to be on the Dead Dog Saloon. And we are starting off with Dawn's Oni. All right, well, with that being said, guys, we are going to take another quick break. As a reminder, we do not have a sponsor here at Champions of the Fog. If you guys know anyone willing to sponsor us, definitely DM me over on Discord. But with that being said, for now, all of you guys are our sponsor. All the ads that you watch, all the bits that you tip, all the subscriptions that you make, they all go towards the organization, the streaming, the assets, and everything else that we do here at Champs of the Fog. So that being said, we're going to be taking a quick 3-minute ad break, and we will see you soon. All right, and we are back. Once again, we are going to be witnessing Dawn killing, this time on the Dead Dog Saloon. And if you could not tell from the bop that is the Oni's lobby music, we are going to be seeing an Oni. Really curious to see Oni on Dead Dog. It's not like the first killer that comes to my mind when I think Dead Dog Saloon. So will be interesting to see how both the Oni and the survivors decide to play it on out. As a reminder though, Cult did take the first set, but going into set number 2, the scores are pretty much wiped clean. So we are going to be seeing, can Dawn bring it back? They're only 5 away from tying up the match's score. So it's possible that they A, win this set, and B, potentially win the match point. But with that being said, let's jump right on in, and we are witnessing Forgiven's Oni, and they are doing some home remodeling right off the start here, spawning on in the main building. I mean, honestly, it's not a bad play. I know for myself, I tend to wait until chases happen here. I will note though, if we kind of look out there on the map, we see 2 lit totems. So looks like a potential Ruin and Undyne, and with that gen of Sparkin, that is definitely a Ruin in play. And Oni, apparently not a fan of doors, it would seem. But with 2 survivors now pushed off their generators and Ruin doing its job, we even see that horror read from the Undyne, and this Claudette trying to figure out where the Oni is will get caught off a little bit, and Oni is primed for a hit. However, this pallet will make things rough. Claudette dropping it early, a little bit mind game there. No vault, so a lot of distance gained, and this Claudette will now make her way over to the next tile. This Oni losing out on this first chase, and looks like Claudette will pre-drop, just trying to deny as much pressure as possible from this Oni. And looks like she's doing a bang-up job, enough so that the Oni is going to drop chase and venture on elsewhere. So really good stuff here by the survivors. Ace once again just dropping off that tile. Unfortunately, the gen they're working on all but fully regressed. And looks like, though, these survivors are up on the gallows trying to prime this gen. Felix up there, I imagine with the balanced landing. No real distance, though. I'm not sure if that was a balanced or not, but will drop the pallet, potentially seeing one of those hex totems. Ace definitely seeing that one. So at the very least, 1 hex totem has been spotted, and the main generator completed. Yeah, these survivors just pre-dropping like champs. I mean, it just makes sense to do so. The question is, though, will Ace get enough distance here? He will get the distance on the LT wall, going back around for another vault and a little bit of a dodge there. Amazing fake. Unfortunately, though, they will take the hit here at the pallet, and that will be the first hit for the Oni. And with that splintered hull, will be all but ready for the Demon Dash. However, looks like they will drop the chase with the Ace and instead try and go for the survivor who dropped down here. That is the Claudette, and Oni just barely able to get the hit. Will get the down on the Claudette. However, for the first down of the game, that is 2 generators now completed for the survivor team. So much like before what we saw with the Spirit, these survivors just efficient as hell. So it's gonna be a hard-fought battle for this Oni. 1 totem has been cleansed, but Ruin still in the game. So Undyne doing its job and taking a bullet there. But Oni will now break those pallets, and we see a unhook there by the Ace, a potential deliverance, and Ruin has now been cleansed, leaving Oni a 1 perk killer. What that perk is, we have yet to see. Could be a no-ed, could be a no way out. Definitely not a Rancor, we know that much at the very least. But Oni sees the blood and will get the Claudette down. The question now remains, does she have the decisive strike, and will they take the gamble? Looks like the answer is no, and that is a dry kick. So not much in the way of regression. And Felix being very daring here, going back to the gen for the gen tap. And looks like a For the People on the Claudette has been activated. Felix trying to go for the pallet vacuum, just not able to make it work though, and will go down. So far, not bad here. A little bit of recovery here by the Oni. However, those survivors have that gen primed and ready, and looks like even while injured, they are going to try and force it out. But Oni saying, all right, fine, you do the generator, but I'm going to put this man down in the basement. And as we've only seen the ace unhook so far, that means that Felix, without a doubt, does not have deliverance in play. So getting this Felix out of the basement is going to be a tall order indeed. Unfortunately, though, that is the 4th generator popping off. And so Oni, much like the Spirit, is definitely going to be sweating now. As with no gen regression in hand, there ain't much that the Oni can do to slow down this game outside of slugging. But so far, these survivors have not really give Oni much of an opening. We see that unhook. Oni going to be demon dashing back over to the basement entrance, but looks like they will get to the pallet in time. Felix narrowly dodging that slam by the Oni. And looks like we're now going to be in chase with the Nancy as the gens will continue to progress. At the end of their Demon Dash, they will end up getting down on the Nancy. And it looks like we're going to be seeing them back down in the basement. I mean, at the end of the day, if they're able to pressure them enough, these basement hooks will add up over time. But with 1 gen remaining, it's definitely going to be a hard spot for the Oni to come back from. We see a blood bank there just waiting for the Oni. And it looks like this survivor is going to commit to the gens. Ace goes down. Claudette is now in chase. Maybe a adrenaline, maybe a unbreakable. Definitely a questionable play there. I know they wanted that generator bad, but now they A, gave the Oni their power. B, the ace is now down on the ground. Still no gen regression here by the Oni though, so that is only 0.3% per second that gen is regressing. And looks like these survivors actually might be in a tough spot. The Oni in some way, shape, or form bringing it back. Looks like they are going to take a lesson from this moment and they are going to reset, or at least in the process of doing so. Oni here honestly has no reason to leave. Generator at high progression. A survivor that was on hook, but as we saw earlier, the ace with that unhook coming on in will end up going towards the gen. Oni not caring though. Will instead pressure another generator, potentially allowing the ace to pop off that last gen. Oni now going back for that generator and the ace. Ace leaving early this time, not taking the risk. And will Oni get the down? He will. We have yet to see a decisive strike, so we'll have to wait and see if Ace has that in hand with the deliverance in play. But Oni once again going back to the water wheel, trying to stop these survivors from popping off this last generator. But looks like they're going back for this gen, potentially going back for Zaka, the ace on the ground. Ace, though, back up with the unbreakable, and with a whiff from the Oni, that will be the end of their power. Oni now in a bit of a pickle with 2 gens heavily progressed, trying to get their power back in some way, shape, or form. But that there will be the last generator. Claudette healed with an adrenaline, and these survivors are off to the races for the potential 4-man out. These X-Gates pretty well split though, and Felix now in chase. Maybe a 9-9 sprint burst. Felix getting away with it. A no way out activating. 4 hooks have taken place, so there is a full minute on the clock for these survivors to stay upright. Oni though, looking like they're going to drop chase with the Claudette here, trying to find a more favorable chase. Either that or trying to just get their power primed and ready for the insta-downs. Unfortunately, though, this means that these survivors might be able to just hide out and wait what the Oni has in store. And now we're a bit of a stalemate, I think. These survivors not going to be wanting to work on the exit gates. No way out stopping them from doing so. And Oni with a power primed. I mean, there's only, what, 60 seconds that the Oni has to get it down, and on any pickup, it means a potential 3-man out. This is definitely an unfortunate circumstance, to say the least, with no way out, with only a few moments left till the clock expires. And these survivors were found out. A dead hard, though, from the ace. Will be able to get some distance, not immediately down, but Oni not falling for that corner tech will get the down, and looks like we're going to be slugging out again. No, in fact, looks like we're going to be just going for the 1K. No Way Out has since expired. We saw the Claudette on the other exit gate, so this is going to more likely than not be a 3-man out with 1K 6-hook for the Oni. Sure enough, we hear the ding of the door, and that will spell the end of this trial. 1K 6-hook for the Oni and a 3-man out for the Survivor team. Not bad results, to say the least, keeping the score pretty close. And with that being said, that there will be the end of trial number 3, and we will be quickly moving into trial number 4, this time with Cult on the killing side and Dawn back on Survivors. We take a look at these builds. Some interesting ones, to say the least. We see that for the People, Deliverance, Unbreakable, and Dead Hard. No BT on the Deliverance, which is surprising. Instead, seeing BT on 2 separate Survivors. No DS activated, no Kinship activated. So not a lot of use out of those second chance perks, but these Survivors didn't seem to need them. With that being said, though, we are once again going to take a little break as we jump into the next lobby. But before we do, as a reminder, guys, we are partnered with Stream for a Cause. They are a nonprofit organization based here in the United States, and they support a whole litany of different charitable causes, from their Going Green initiative this month to the refugees in Ukraine and a whole lot more. So if you guys haven't already, definitely check out Champions for a Cause, the Stream charity fundraiser that we created with them. So every dollar will go to those causes, like the ones that I mentioned, and a whole lot more. But also, the dollars that you donate will also go towards the prize pool in some way, shape, or form for Championship of Champions. Basically, we're going to be taking a percentage, not from the donations, but we're going to be then saying, hey, you donated X amount, we're going to then make the prize pool X percentage of that amount that you donated. So if you guys are interested in participating in Champions by winning a season of Champions of the Fog, definitely make sure to donate, even if it is $1. But with that being said, we are going to be back in just a little bit, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye! All right, and we are back. This is trial number 4 of Cult versus Dawn, and we have once again a very close game on our hands. Right now for set number 2, it is 16-15, Colt and Dawn, with Colt currently in the lead by 1 point. Not to mention the match point is only a 6-point difference. So it really will come down to this match. Will Dawn be able to get the set point and the match point? Will Colt take the 3-0 victory? Only time will tell. But with that being said, we are going to be seeing Colt's Plague, and we're going to be seeing them, play the Vommy Mommy and do what she does best. I imagine with the Dead Dog Saloon, with the gens as wide open as they are, the Plague is going to get a whole lot of value here. But with that being said, looks like this Plague woke up and chose violence today, as we actually see them bringing out the double apple. And so that is going to mean 2 additional pools of devotion for the Plague. I would have imagined a devotee's amulet, but not today. This Plague just trying to get some information, and from there, going to be going for the kill. And these 3 pools in some pretty good areas for the Plague, to say the least. The Plague looking around, trying to identify where these survivors might be at, but it is Dead Dog Saloon. Unfortunately, though, the David caught out in the middle of nowhere, and he will be the first infected. David trying desperately to keep away from the Plague. Unfortunately for him, this Plague's pool right here and ready to go. Like I said, the Plague has chosen violence today, and that will be the first injury of the game. These survivors now keenly aware of thanatophobia, slowing down the game by 5% per injured survivor. David, though, getting some pretty good distance, and I want to say, we may have just seen a ruin as we saw some sparks from that middle gen up top on the main building. And looks like Plague, though, will be going for the Atom here, Forgiven, getting some good distance there from what looks to be a life. Unfortunately, though, Plague does not care and will get the hit nonetheless, and Adam will go down. Unless there's a survivor primed and ready at this pallet, that will be the first hook for this Plague. We kind of take a look around. We are hearing these gens going, but now regressing as we see that totem there, and Nia potentially passing by it, maybe making a call out to their team, but Plague just barely missing them on that vomit, and will now vomit on the Atom too for some additional infection. Looks like there's a 10% regression up on main building. So these survivors missing their skill checks, unfortunately, and sounds like it might be David up there. Plague trying to see if they can get them to drop down, but unable to do so. We will see the unhook on Adam, and Nia going in for the body block potentially. Looks like instead she had a 99 sprint burst in hand, but Plague will not care and continue the chase. Nia trying to get a little bit of mind game here. Plague will get the infection though, and is now going to be dropping the chase, trying to pressure the main building generator as we hear is about to pop off. But with a 10% regression on that gen, looks like Plague has a little bit of extra time on her hands, and will now be going for the chase on the David. With that door open, actually really smart heads-up play. I was kind of wondering why she would have done so, but now with that open, David is in a world of hurt with 3 survivors currently infected, 2 currently injured. Thanatophobia doing a whole lot of work, and with that dead hard, Plague just barely missing, but unfortunately for David with this bloodlust, he will be going down. This will be the second hook for the Plague. First on 2 separate survivors. We have seen 3 out of the 4 perks the Plague has in store for these survivors. We're not sure of the 4th one just as of yet. Could be Pop Goes the Weasel, could be Call of Brine even, as Ruin has yet to be cleansed, and we do not see any sign of a undying, however. Plague, though, going for the kill. We do hear the Atom behind this tile vomiting because of their infection. Plague going for the Corrupt Purge, and we'll be trying to get a quick and dirty down here. We'll get it. Atom trying to get their life off in time, just not able to make it happen, and that'll be the second hook for Atom. And second gen for these survivors, but 2 survivors currently on hook. They are in a world of hurt, especially in the instance that these are the 2 BTs of the game. Can't say with any degree of certainty, but we saw, I believe, the Atom go for an unhook earlier. So chances are at least one of the 2 BTs are currently locked up. And with the Plague here forcing the David to second stage, that will mean at the very least 2 survivors are primed and ready for the entity to take them back to the campfire. And looks like Plague's power will expire here, giving these survivors an opportunity to go for a unhook. Speaking of, there's David on the unhook. But now Atom is in a world of hurt with only around 15 seconds left until death. But these survivors not giving up will pop off another generator. With only 2 remaining, the Plague will have to give some thought of what to do next. But that will be the 1K secured. And the Plague is now in a prime position to win the match. Wow, that is heartbreaking to hear. If we listen to that gen the David is on right now, that thing was primed and ready to go off. But between the missed skill check and the gen regression from Ruin, that gen is all but silenced. So David there pretty much starting from scratch. And looks like Plague will push them off with that Corrupt Purge. Plague, though, opting to go for the Gallows, as we did see the Gallows gen spark there. In fact, though, going for Nia instead of the Claudette. Nia trying to hit the Plague with a pallet, ending their Corrupt Purge. Just not able to make it happen, though. And at the very least here, I mean, all the Plague needs to do is to secure the 2K for the victory. So at this point in time, they could just wait this out, but looks like they're choosing instead to go for the chase on the Claudette, trying to see if the David will go for the unhook. And David quickly jumping into that locker, trying to dodge the vomit. Plague trying to respond with another Corrupt Purge again. And it's a bit of game of cat and mouse here. The question is, will it pay off for one of the 2 sides? And looks like they will all but end that game. And Plague will go back to the Nia to force second stage. I mean, really, really good showing here by the Plague. Really good game sense, to say the least. With Ruin's still up, unfortunately, these survivors have been at such a huge disadvantage. Between that and Thanatophobia, this game has been brought to a practical halt. And if Claudette getting found out here, that means at most 1 survivor is on gens. And I don't think Dave's going to be able to get there in time for the second stage. And sure enough, we will see Nia move to second stage and be primed for death. The only one I think that has not been hooked yet is this Claudette. But looks like the Plague is going to opt to drop chase of Claudette and potentially secure the 2K here. Like we said, all they need is that 2K to secure the victory for Cult. And looks like that is exactly what the Plague is planning to do, as Nia here only has roughly 15 seconds before they go back to the campfire. David, though, healing, finally getting rid of their infection and broken status effect, but it might be a little bit too late, however, as Nia is only seconds away. However, looking at their timer, it is still ticking down. I was wondering if maybe there was a kinship in play. There is not, and 5 seconds remaining. Nia will be taken by the entity, and now it comes down to these final 2 survivors. Will they escape, or will they meet a similar fate? Plague at this point, kind of scoping out these gens, and finds the Claudette on one of these last 3, still injured too. One of those moments where sometimes purposely infecting yourself and then cleansing for the insta-heal is not a bad play, but Claudette will get the dodges here. Unfortunately, not able to get the pallet stun and will go down. So Claudette will go on hook here unless there's a last-minute flashlight save for the David. And looks like we are back in chase once again. And amazing job there by these survivors. Looks like a balanced landing from the Claudette will get them a bit of distance, but I don't think it will be enough as Plague still has another 15 seconds of this corrupt purge in hand at the water wheel. Claudette, though, seemingly dodging everything this Plague has to throw. Plague trying to do a quick panic swing, not able to get the hit, and Claudette finally will drop the pallet. There's the vault and the down. Is David around for another flashlight save? That is yet to be seen, and sure enough, no save in sight. Final Gen has been completed by the David. At most, I see a one-man out. Unfortunately, though, oh, I thought that was the exit gate, but that was a vault instead from the David. Maybe just trying to buy enough time for either the hatch escape or to see the Claudette deli off a hook, but looks like Plague not into the David. You know, kind of indicating, well, the game is over, friend. Give up while you can. But David saying, no, I think I'm just going to stay right up here, going to chill and wait for this hatch. Plague is keen on that idea, however, and is just going to be sitting it out. So really good play by the Plague here. They could go into main and chase out the David, but that really does risk them losing this David to the hatch spawn at Shack. So instead, just gonna wait it out. And, you know, it's not much of a surprise at this point. Oh, David found Ruin. You know what? Better late than never, I guess. Better late than never. But looks like Plague will opt to chase David at this point. Surprisingly, dropping off of their hatch plan and Plague getting stuck there on that geometry that actually might give David the distance they need for the hatch. And looks like they're going to be opting to go for the chase here. Not worried about the hatch spawn. David with a little bit of extra distance will not be able to get the hatch, however. And Plague doing their due diligence, securing the 4K. Will close it, and that will spell the end for the David. Looks like David, though, not wanting to go down without one last chase. And not that it spoils much at this point, but even if the David were to try and go for the exit gates, there's a bit of a no way out. There is quite literally no way out for David here today. He has no hope of escape. And with Plague vomiting on both of those vaults right there, David will become infected, and it only becomes a matter of time before he is insta-downable. And Plague just kind of taking their time, forcing him to vault these infected windows. And as you interact with them more and more, the quicker you become infected. However, Plague saying, screw it, we're just gonna hit you in the back of the head instead with my incense holder and call it a day. Shack Pallet's still up, so a very good loop here for David. A valiant last hurrah. And Plague trying to get a bit of a mind game here and will not be able to make it work as David was keen on the idea and will double back for the pallet. Plague taking a swing, though, will whiff, and David will get to the window once again. I believe he has one more window vault in his pocket before he has to use this pallet. And with only 30 seconds left, though, EGC will bring this chase to the end one way or another. Fantastic run here by the David, I will say. He is doing a bang-up job. I mean, if he was able to make these chases happen earlier in the match, it definitely would have put his Survivor team in a much more favorable position. But hey, you know, it's good practice for your future matches on the Dead Dog Saloon. EDC with only 5 seconds left, and looks like the fun will have to end eventually as David goes for one more flashlight blind to end the match. And with that being said, that there will be the end of the match between Dawn versus Cult. Colts coming out on top with the 3-0 sweep. But nonetheless, GG, well played by both the survivors and the killer alike. And that there, folks, is going to be end of match number 1 of the day. We're going to be jumping into match number 2 here in just 50 minutes with Modern Retro versus Petroleum. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And I will be joined by Junico here at 2 p.m. CST. But with that being said, guys, we are going to end for now. We're going to go on a little bit of a break, but so you guys know kind of what's going on behind the scenes. We're actually making our push for a partner. We are really, really close, and I have to thank all of you who come out every weekend to support this channel and the organization that we have made over this last year. Hard to believe it's been a year already. I actually created Chambers of Fog in March of last year. So kind of insane that time can fly by so quickly. But that being said, we are making a push towards partner as we speak. So we're going to be putting up the Be Right Back screen. We're going to be running a 3-minute ad, which I have mentioned earlier does support everything that Chambers of Fogs does. So if you are looking to support us, definitely make sure to wait through the ads. And even more so, if you can leave your computer on, you know, keep up the stream. We'll keep up the stream and go from there. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you all in, like I said, another 48 minutes for... I already forgot the teams. For Modern Retro versus Petroleum at 2 p.m. CST. With that being said, guys, I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye!